What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are doing an April analysis for Bitcoin today. We're going to go over every April. I've got every single April identified with different colored lines here. We got the good old red, white, and blue flowing through the charts. I will go over what they mean in a second. The music will pause, but I want to just give a special shout out to every person who has bought the dip recently, who has taken the advantage of any of the coins that they've been looking at that have taken a dip today or over the past week. Good job, guys. That's awesome. I do think we are in buy the dip territory. We are in a bull market after all. So congrats to every person that's been having their eyes on things. You've been patiently waiting. You saw the moment and you attacked. Even if it goes lower, hopefully you didn't throw the whole bag at it, but if it does go lower, hopefully you don't panic sell, or you have a little bit left over so that you can just DCA, throw some more into it. And shout out to everybody making money on the meme coins, man. I've made a little bit on meme coins, but you guys, I'm trading such a small amount, like such a small amount. I started with $50. I put 600 in a coin called Pajamas, and it's worth like 800 now, which is nice, whatever. But I put $50. I'm more proud of this coin, Dub. I put $50 in it. I sold it for about 150, and it dropped back all the way down to where I originally bought it. So I got out at the prime time. But enough of that. Shout out to everyone making money in this market right now, taking opportunities when they come your way. That's what it's about. It's a bull market, man. And if you feel like you're too late, we are before the halving still, guys. You are absolutely not too late. But we're down right now. Bitcoin's down this month already. We're down about 6% right now and counting to the downside. There are going to be cryptos that are down more than that. Don't miss your opportunity. You've been waiting to get in. They've been taken off without you. Everything's on sale right now. Not financial advice, do what you want to do, but things are definitely cheaper across the board than they have been. Anyways, man, enough dilly-dallying. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you all to all the new subscribers, you guys. March was the biggest month I've ever had for subscribers by about 20 subscribers. So it's a very close month, but still an accomplishment nonetheless. I'm going to pause the music. Let's get into the analysis. So I've got all these different colored lines on here. They are all on April. And you can see that the gaps in between them, they're symmetrical. So every single April is identified here. Red means it was a red month. White means it was a green month. I just feel like white stands out more than green. And then blue is neutral. Blue for America, red, white, and blue, baby, or France, or there's other countries with red, white, and blue too, but I'm drawing a blank here. But anyways, you can see that the first April we had was red. We've had 2 red Aprils in Bitcoin's entire existence. Now, I want to be clear as to what I identify as a red month and a green month and a neutral month, because you see blue and you're like, well, that's a red month there. This is a green month here. How is that? Oh, wait. Oh, no, that's white. Sorry. I guess all these. This one was on the month. Oh, no. Am I wrong? Okay, no, I'm misreading my. Okay, here we go. This one was green, but this one's blue. Okay, I got a little crossed up in my own bars here, but we've had 2 red months. Anything greater than a 10% gain or a 10% loss is not a neutral month. Anything less than a 10% movement from an open to close is what I consider neutral. Because this is Bitcoin, man. If it's open to close moved less than 10%, I feel like that's a rather neutral month. And a lot of people look at crypto or charts, they look at it as black and white. You're either going up or you're going down. But like the fact of the matter is you can go sideways for quite a long time. You can go sideways for quite a long time. That was a horribly drawn circle, but you can do that. And I think that is different than upward and downward movement. I think it's important to note. So I don't know. That's just kind of how I've always been. So anyways, 2 red months. We've two red Aprils basically in this whole thing's existence. The most recent one was in April of 2022. I have a good feeling that this month will not be red. That does not mean that it can't be neutral, though. It absolutely can be neutral. We've got the last month that we had, or the last April we had was green. We had why is it white? It shouldn't be white. I messed it up a little bit. I'm sorry, guys. That one should be neutral. Maybe because it was the last one. I airballed that. Okay, so we had a neutral. Maybe we were overdue for a white, actually, looking at it like this. We've had 2 red months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green months, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 neutral months. So just as likely to be neutral as we are to be green. To be fair, I would think because we have gone without a green month for now, or a green April for 3 years. This would be the 4th year in a row that we had gone without a green month if we were to. We've never done that before, but that doesn't mean we can't do it now. This is a very kind of speculative kind of way of analyzing it, but I would be under the assumption that we're due for a green April. Now, the caveat to that is we've also done something that we've never done before in Bitcoin's history, which is we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green months in a row. And we've never done that. We've never done that before. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on the 7th month we continued to go up, but then we came down. You know, we've never had, and you can go back in time and check for yourself on the monthly, we've never had 7 months in a row green. So to say that we're going to have an 8th month green here, you know, we're in uncharted territories with that, but we're definitely overdue at some point for a red month. But the caveat to that, or like the kind of catch-22, whatever you want to call it, to that is that this month here was in fact a neutral month. We were only 0.67% in the green. So I think that in a sense can restart this count. Really what we had was like 1, 2, 3, 4 green months, 1 neutral month, really a neutral month down here even, but you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So I think we can continue with this 8th month in a row being green technically. Pair that with the fact that we haven't had a green April in 3 years in a row now. I think that just says something, man. I want to look at also what Aprils were before the halving, and then I'm going to delete all these lines and check on the month of the halving and see what those months were as well, if that makes sense. So, you know, this one was before the halving, but like right before the halving was this April here. So rather neutral April, and then we continued to grow afterwards. Okay, we're not post-halving April yet, so let's see, April 2016 would have been the next one. April here, green month, but it was a neutral month. Okay, so that's 2 neutral Aprils before the halving. Okay, and then 2020, of course, April, May. We had April right here, and then May was here. No, it was over here. Okay, April we had a green. So we've had 2 neutrals and 1 green April previous to the halving. This was the closest April to the halving that we've had, so that might be worth noting. I want to delete this real quick and go through and just kind of identify every halving month now, which is only 3 months aside from this month, and see how those have done. Which would have been November of 2012, very end of November. From low to high, we saw a 22% range, not growth, just a range. 2016. Let's see. July. We actually saw from high to low, we saw a 13% dip. And then 2020, in May, we saw a 24% low to high. And I'm going high to low here because it's a red month, low to high here because it's a green month, low to high here because it's a green month. You know, with this assumption, I mean, we could see a red April based off of this, because one halving month we were up, the next halving month we were down, the next halving month we were up, and now 7 green months in a row. We've moved up like we never have before. Maybe this month could be red. So that's not really giving us anything to go off of, in my opinion. Other than maybe this month would be red, or technically also we have 2 greens versus 1 red. Technically we're more likely to be green at that point, but just 3 iterations, it's not really too much to base off of. The reason I'm talking about this, guys, is because we're in the very, very beginning of the month. I know it might seem boring. I know it might seem a little bit confusing because I'm not the best with my words at times, but essentially, I'm looking at this to assume, you know, what we could see for the rest of this month. And being that we have grown so much, it's not completely uncalled for that we could check back, we could pull back, we could have a red month this month. But I don't think that's going to happen. I meant what I said yesterday, guys, in my video yesterday. Essentially, what I was saying is that I believe we're on a nonstop. Man, I need to stop this. Hold on. I had the magnet, or the lock tool. The lock tool means like anytime you click, it just brings it there. So anyways, you know, we've never, the way that the fib looks, I very much do believe we're on a non-stop trajectory up to at least 100K. Crypto has done this thing a lot recently. I've seen it across the board of various amounts of cryptos where we stop at some point in the space of nothingness here. So we could, you know, maybe top off around 84K, 90K, something like that. But based off of the fibs, just solely based off the fibs, without any other kind of taken opinions into it. The way that this looks, I genuinely just don't see us stopping until we hit this zone here, which is between 100K and 174K. And no, I don't think we're making a straight shot up to 174K. I am accepting it as a possibility, where I think most people are thinking this is end of the cycle numbers, where, like, truthfully, the way the fibs look, we could make a run. It wouldn't be abnormal based off fibs to see this kind of movement. But for Bitcoin, and for how high that would be and how close that would be to our potential all-time high for the cycle, I would be surprised if we saw that. I wouldn't bet on that personally. But between 100K and 130K, I mean, that could genuinely be the move. I'm very much leaning on this number being the number that we go to. We probably go right up to 100K and then pull back. I don't know how many people are prepared for that, man. I really don't. But April could be a really good month, you guys. April really could be a good month. I don't think that we're just going to go all the way up to 100K in April. That would be a 50% month, but we could. You know, it's absolutely possible. We had a 47% month right here, followed by a 42% month the month before. That was in the last bull cycle. You know, even in coming out of the cycle lows, we had a 62% pump, and then we've seen, you know, bigger pumps on an opening to closing basis up that high. You know, we've absolutely seen that. So. I don't know. I'm definitely still looking for that target area. Come on now, hold on. Up at about 100K until we see any kind of significant long phase of accumulation, consolidation, correction, whatever you want to call it, distribution. Yeah, I think that's what we're doing. And when I say unchecked, or when I say we're moving up there before we see a long phase, that doesn't mean we can't move down for a week or two, you know, even a month. Even like we could have a red month, but in the beginning of the month, we pull down, and then we come back up the rest of the month to kind of like close neutral with a big wick to the downside. You know, I think we could see something like that. That's absolutely on the table, but that wouldn't be like a long phase of consolidation like we saw here, right? Like we saw here, like even this zone kind of here in this general area of that bull cycle, or something like this, where it was 1, 2, 3 months down. On the fourth month you broke out, you know, something like a quarter of a year. We're not going to see that kind of consolidation, in my opinion, until we reach 100K, which is just crazy, man. I feel crazy saying it, but I'm literally, you know, screw my feelings, screw whatever I feel. It's more about the TA, and generally speaking, unbiased to completely like just how you would go by this fib look, this look of the Fibonacci retracement tool. The next target, before you decide to really make any kind of committed move to consolidate or retrace, would be up at 103K. That's like genuinely that. And I'm focusing so much on that because I do feel like that sounds crazy, and I just need to reinforce it in my own head, but also to kind of let you guys know, you know, I understand this sounds crazy, but just basing it off the rules here, going by the book, that's what we could expect. You know, not only that, but any time that we've been overbought, right, we can go, I've done this a couple times, we'll just do it real quick here. Anytime that we've been overbought like this for Bitcoin, you know, we got overbought here in November, we topped off in April, so December, January, February, March, April, that's 5 months, right? Got overbought here in November. Is that 2 Novembers in a row? No. Yeah, November. Topped off in August of that next year, so like a lot longer, right? That was like 9 months, or 10 months, I don't know. And then October, or no, that was November again. That's crazy. 3 Novembers in a row, and then topped off in March. So December, January, February, March, 4 months, right? Here we weren't overbought in January, but we did get overbought in February. We're only 1-2 months into it, so I would think that we at least have another 2 months of growing to do, if not more than that, based off of what we've seen before. So again, just getting overbought like this. A lot of people look at the RSI. What I love about the RSI is it's fairly simple to understand, right? When you're above the 50, you're showing strength. When you're below the 50, you're showing weakness. When you're overbought, look for a high. When you're oversold, look for a bottom, you know, stuff like that. But it's a little bit more complex than that. It is simple, more or less, to understand, but a lot of people make the misconception of seeing us get overbought and thinking that means we have to go down, when really we have a whole lot, literally months of growing to do. A quarter of a year, half a year, 3/4 of a year of growing to do. We just got overbought. We're here right now, sure, it's pretty high. In 83.8 on the monthly, that is pretty high for Bitcoin. But we've gone higher every single cycle we have. So I absolutely do think we'll go higher. I think we'll come up in line with these highs here. If you draw a line, actually, from like there to there, you've got a very tight-knit line on these monthly RSI tops. We could be making a run up for 93, and this historically has been where we've seen the cycle peaks happen. And generally, you get one peak, two peaks, one peak, two peaks, one peak, two peaks, one peak. This is your second peak. It's just we had that long lull, like in here, where most of the time it hasn't been this long before we've seen prices back above the high. But we had a whole bunch of things holding the price of Bitcoin back last cycle. I'm kind of throwing a theory out there, or an opinion, a hypothesis, a belief, if you will, that we're going to hit this sometime this year. It's going to happen sometime this year. I mean, it's potentially around June. If not drawn like this, I mean, maybe in August. Who knows? It could be Q2. It could be Q3. I don't think it'll be Q4 by the time we hit this. I think we will hit it in Q2 or Q3, but it could be as late as Q4. And I don't think that we're going to be anywhere near the cycle high. I still think that we have, at least as far as time goes, I still think we will have plenty of time until the second half of 2025 before the bull cycle's over. So we might see this thing get above this line that we've been holding for so long. Maybe we do. Maybe we don't. Maybe we pull back, we get like a double top again, and then we come down, we consolidate for a while, and then we have a last like kind of hoorah, and we form like some double bearish divergence or something. Who knows? Where we're getting higher highs in the price but lower highs in the RSI. I don't know. It's all theoretical. That's stuff like that. Really, it's not that it doesn't matter, but it's too hard to say right now because it is months away, like over a quarter of a year away. Well, about a quarter of a year away, give or take, right? At this point. But anyways, talking about the long-term stuff, talking about April, I do feel like this month will be green. If we go back in time, right, in the very beginning of the video, 6 green months, 6 neutral months, 2 red months. And this would be the 4th year in a row. If we didn't get a green month, this would be the 4th year in a row that we haven't gotten a green month. We've never seen that before for Aprils. So I would say that we probably are overdue for a green month in April. The only thing holding me back a little bit is the fact that we've got 7 green months in a row, but I'm not really taken back by that too much because we are showing a lot of bullishness, and just where we are at the RSI, I would be more surprised if this month closed red than if it closed green. I wouldn't be surprised if it closed neutral, but I'd like to see it close green. Anyways, let's get to the more immediate analysis. Stop talking so much like hypotheses and stuff like that. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe a more immediate fib. Let's see. High to low. Went all the way up to here's 2618. That's the golden ratio at the 200 level. So that's a 2618. That is a golden extension. We're finding support on the 2272. We're actually really holding that 2272 nice. Dipped all the way back to your 1886, and now we're above the 227. Like this looks pretty constructive, guys. As long as we're holding 66.4K, 66.5K, that area, I think we're good. I really do think we're good for continuation. You guys already know what I'm thinking. And then based off this fib too, our next like 300 area, the 3618, 3786, that's up at about 91 to 95K, which is pretty close to that 103K target. Which would be like essentially right here. So we really could go all the way up there. But with how constructive we're looking now, I do think we want to go higher. I want to get this relative fib going here. High to low on a daily chart. Maybe that'll be more revealing. I don't like that we broke above the 618. We found support on it. We got above the 786. We looked so good. And then the last 2 days in a row, already today we're down 4%. It's kind of crazy. But we're back at the 0.5. We're back at the 382. I suppose it's fine. I do think that as of right now, we do have a pretty solid chance of still reaching these like areas for a more or less immediate target. We just, we're taking a little bit of a drawback now. What would change my mind on that would essentially be getting below about 64K, 63.7K, somewhere around there. That would probably change my opinion. That would make me a little worried that we are moving down to those targets that I had back in like the midst of this move that were down at 57K. And, you know, I did say down here that I was anticipating a move up to 69 to 70K, or maybe it was 68 to 69K or 67. I forget what I said, but a move up. It went up a little higher, and we lingered up here. This is what was giving me the thought that we were going to continue higher, but we've actually we've given it back a little bit, haven't we? I want to get an even more relative fib on here. Let's see. Low to high. This fib is not lost yet. If today can close above 67.335, if we can close above 67.3K, essentially, we're looking good. So let's do that. Let's make that the goal. It can close. We can be red today. And again, starting off the month red, that's okay. I'm not worried about that. I'd rather start the month off red than come back down, you know, at the end of the month to finish off red, because this does give us a chance to fix things. You know, we sell off a little bit, give it a bearish look for the time being, you know, shake out the weak hands, and then boom, we finish the month off strong. The more or less immediate target as of right now is between about 78K and 83K, with the inevitable target being, I think, up to about 100K before we see any real kind of phases of consolidation, which absolutely right now, if you want to define it, this is a little phase of consolidation. Absolutely it is, but it's not like it's not going to be multiple months long. You know, it's not something like this was here, or something like this over here, you know, like where we had one just grand phase of consolidation. We'll see something like that, or something like this at least, maybe with a more bearish tilt, maybe with a neutral tilt, who knows, but something that stops the progress and growth for Bitcoin. We'll see that probably, my thoughts are, around 100K. I feel like I keep saying that over and over again, but that's kind of the theory at this point in time. Looking at the daily RSI, I'm not too impressed. I was hopeful that we would maintain prices in the bullish area of control above the 60, and that's not a good look right there, I will say, especially being below the 50 now. So we really do need to close up a little bit higher today. That way we're not below the 50 on the RSI, and that way we're also not below this 382 on the Fibonacci retracement here. If I can get it at the right level, there we go. Which again is at about 67.3K. So close above that, move up. You know, we got to bounce off the 0.5 as of right now. If we can hold that. You know, I like to say you don't find significance on the 0.5 often, but when you do, you get significant moves. So if we find significance on it here, we could find a significant move that finally takes us to new all-time highs once again. That's my genuine opinion. So I don't know. Let's look at the 4-hour. It's a pretty bearish looking 4-hour, man. The RSI, everything about it does not look good. I will be honest. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'd really like us to hold that 0.5. I mean, even if we don't, whatever, we can go down to the 618. We can go down to about 64.7K, even 64K itself. But if 64K breaks, that's when I get a little bit concerned, honestly. That 64K area. Because it is kind of a relative area of support, resistance right here, resistance back here. And, you know, it's right at your 6.9, the golden ratio zone. Like, you'd be leaving that, and that wouldn't look good at all. Hold on, guys. I don't know what's wrong with me. I had something in my throat, man. But it's gone now. It's gone. Yeah, the 4-hour doesn't look too friendly. The 1-hour looks terrible. So volume's picking up as we're moving down. That's not a good combo. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too worried about this just yet, but it can get worrisome, that's for sure. But at this point in time, I think it's definitely buy the dip territory. Even if it is a longer phase of consolidation, even if everything that I'm saying is wrong so far, you know, we could consolidate for a long amount of time, whatever. If you're patient, it'll do well for you. So, you know, if things don't start getting bullish soon, don't be discouraged. Just hodl, hold, and buy more, essentially. Not financial advice, but that's what I'll be doing. I don't know if I have anything else I want to add. Let's go through a couple of time frames, some odd time frames here. Can't I make a custom? I know how to. Oh, there we go. Add a custom interval. There we go. Minutes, days, 3 days. Yeah. Interval already exists. Where? Oh, it's right there. Okay, I already made it. My bad. Let's see. The 3-day actually looks. Come on, man. Actually looks pretty good. I do like the 3-day a lot. I want to look at the 3-month as well. Quarter of a year, you know. It already exists? I don't think I made that. Okay, maybe it just comes standard with it. All right. You know, to be fair, on the 3-month, we do have bearish divergence presenting itself. So this 3-month period will end in 2 months. I think it'll be green. So it's presenting itself now. We do have bearish divergence, but it's not printed until we get a red candle. So, I mean, these highs, the way that they look, I mean, they all correspond. We've only had 1, 2, 3 cycle highs. We've only had 3 cycles so far. So that's, you know, we're on our way to form our next cycle high. It's kind of crazy. Like the way this looks, it's like you've got 1, 2, you'd be forming your 3rd drive of bearish divergence, and like the way that you normally would do that, you'd pull all the way back down to where the divergence formed, but you don't always have to do that. That's just kind of a statistical probability thing. But with long-term time frames, things get out of whack. This becomes less significant because you're not. It's just a decade away. You know, it's totally different circumstances now. But looking at the 3-month being overbought is nice as well. Anytime you've gotten into the overbought zone, you've just continued to go until your all-time highs, right? Like, let's just see, actually. Let's see. You got into, what month was it? Not this month. Oh, I just feel that's so high right there, but we're going to go with it. Technically, you're overbought in this 3-month candle here. So you did 1, 2, 3, 4 3-month periods in a row that were green. 1 neutral, but more or less 4 in a row that were green. Here you got overbought on this 3-month period. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row that were green. And then the last cycle, we got overbought. Technically here, it was a 1 2-month period where we were green. And then we actually formed our all-time high 3 candles later. So, you know, anywhere from like 6 months to a year of green is what we get whenever we get into the overbought zone. And we just did that with the last 3-month candle. We've got 3 months to go here, so I would assume that this one will close green. Even if April were to close green by June, by the end of June, we would be green. You know, we'd be above our current all-time highs. So. Just more or less saying the same thing that I've been saying throughout the whole video. I think this exemplifies it. We're not going to be in a long phase of consolidation here. I don't think we are. I just don't think we are. Even if April does close red, which I'm not anticipating, I don't think we're going to consolidate here. But you guys, I feel like I've done a lot of blabbing. I don't know how much sense I made or how on track. I feel like I was on track, but I feel like I talked a lot, man. I don't know. Sometimes, guys, I'll be like. I will end the video and I'll be like, that was a bad video, man. Like, I feel like that did not do good. And then I'll see a bunch of people watched it and liked it and commented on it. And then I'll watch it myself and I'll be like, I don't know why I thought it was bad. I thought I sounded a lot worse than I did. And then I'll watch it. I'll be like, oh, okay, I don't sound too bad. So I do watch my own videos, by the way, guys. It's not a self-obsession kind of thing. It's just more of like, you know, checking my own work. You know, like if you're going to post something, you should at least see how you sound, see how you present yourself. See if there's any things that you would change. I like to critique myself. That's kind of how I've always been since I was like 5 years old. But that's one of the things. My very best friends in the world, man, they appreciate. They know that I will give it to them straight. I won't tell them what they want to hear. I will tell them literally what my thoughts are. I feel like I'm pretty good at being critical. I try not to have I try not to let my biases affect my opinion, but here I am talking about myself. I'm probably going to end it there, guys. Oh yeah, the music's playing good. Yeah, all this to say, essentially the same thing as yesterday. 100K or bust, man. I think we're going there. I don't believe this month will close red. The most bearish scenario I see is we close neutral, which would be less than 10%, which technically would be lower than we are now, but it would be less than a 10% move from open to close. And I'm kind of expecting, actually, that we're going to close this month green, which would mean a greater than 10% move open to close, which would be, you know, by the end of April, essentially, I would say we're like guaranteed, or I would at least assume that we will be above 78. Let's get it close, because these are big numbers we're dealing with. Essentially at like 78.5K or higher, and I think we will be. I think we'll be in the 80K range by the end of this month, but who knows? What I would really love to see, you guys, is just more consolidation here. You know, obviously not on a month-to-month basis, but the more that we consolidate in this range, the more altcoins and meme coins are going to grow. So that's more fun anyways. You see a lot more growth when Bitcoin consolidates. But yeah, that's it, man. I think that's all I got to say. Probably does move down a little bit more today. That's my thought. The 4 hour looks terrible. The 1 hour looks pretty terrible as well. Let me look at the 15-minute. 15-minute looks terrible, but we might be getting close to the low. You know, I would love to see today close a little bit higher, again above 67.3K. But at first we might go lower. We could go lower than this though, so don't get scared. But as long as we're holding the 618, 69 area, I think we're fine. So yeah, just a little reminder, a little wrap up there. So that's all I got. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you all for coming. I will see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.